All right, so quick trade review from what we broke down today. So AM session, I was watching Midnight Open. I really wanted to see 9:30 sweep that. It didn't. When we had this break, look back at this fair value gap right at 9:30's open. There's also the first presentation fair value gap on the 1 minute right there. So good area. Took that setup target on Monday's range, which is going to be the basis for all of today. So here's Monday's price action from low, mid, high. So target was a mid because I was not confident that we'd actually make it all the way to Monday's low. Around the end of the AM session, looking at this Monday mid, saw what I thought was a breaker structure to the upside to look for a discount array. Pretty good entry. Bad timing though. Really didn't like the timing of this. I don't like to get into trades at 11 by 11:15. So at 11:10, I was like, all right, maybe. Had a clear above the midpoint. Had this liquidity as relative equal highs. Wanted it to go higher than that. Price broke down. Took a half a stop. Moved this one just to the low of this wick. So broke lower. Saw where the AM low was. And then framed up over lunch. Now, over lunch was very interesting. I want to come back to this fractal in a second, but as price cleared the midpoint and started to sweep the AM low, coming back into the lunch range low, I saw this breaker. So this breaker was where I took a market entry as price was clearing through the breaker right at the lunch low, which is the green line here. So that's this line here. So as price cleared through it, did a market entry. The fill was basically at the breaker high. Saw the movement up, thought to myself, something's suspicious here because we're not getting back to the midpoint of lunch. We're not getting back to the midpoint of Monday. We're not getting to the higher lunch. Took a small position stop. So I move whenever I start to see price failing at buy side, I'll take 25% of the position off in terms of squeezing the stop. That one got stopped out. So taking 25% is just a little risk management approach I use just to try and ease some of the bleeding if I start getting into tilt. Anyway, so any good bullish setup that fails, I will then use that as the narrative for a bearish setup. So when this low was taken out, I'm looking back at this bullish setup as a breaker for a position. So I saw the fair value gap in here and I went up to the 5 minute and noticed that we had something like a textbook order block where we had a sweep of a low and we ran into the order block. So took the entry off of the order block, back down to the 1 minute. The target at this point was a space between Monday's mid and Monday's low. So Monday's low being here. And then I used a new week opening gap and just split it up into quarters. So first partial was here, just around 70. The sweep that pushed down below 75%. Then the next partial was just after the 50%. And then the last position was on Monday's low. And then I tried a sneaky little long after we saw price sweep Monday's low, give a market structure shift, and then down on this time frame, I was looking at this as an order block. It didn't go anywhere, but that was the sentiment. So we'll see how the rest of the week plays out.